All right.
You
Hey,
say
Dave,
good
on the
now.
phone with us this morning, we have Yakima County Commissioner Amanda McKinney on the phone
her.
with us
We
this
love
morning.
her.
Yes, good morning, Amanda. Thanks for joining
Hey,
us
good
this
morning,
morning.
Lance.
Hey, appreciate you all coming on this morning. Boy, you guys have been busy this week. Kind of tell
well,
us.
we've been busy for a
yeah.
while, and then it's things start to come out. It takes a little bit of time to get
Right.
prepped, and then things kind of get going.
We learned of the proclamation that came out earlier this week, I think Monday. So tell us kind of what your thinking is with this COVID-19 and how we're going to try to open up our county more than it is now.
Yeah, well, I think probably the biggest question is, why two of them? And I think, the first one was really a product of when I came on the board. It was something I thought, we need to let him know the tools that we have available to push back on this, the legal tools that we have are the powers of the purse being one at the county. And so it was really important to be able to say, okay, we're going to let him know that we are not going to use any county resources to fund any aspect of the COVID mandate. And that if we're not able to, then it's going to take state funds to do so, because otherwise it becomes an unfunded mandate. Mm-hmm. And the second one was really the regionalization. And I don't know, if anyone's been following, but I've asked a lot of questions, and it became very clear to me that there had to have been a plan in the works for another plan. And when I reached out to the governor's office, they denied that there was any plan in the works. And I thought, well, there's just no way. And so I asked very specific questions to our health district and was able to find out that indeed that they had been working quite collaboratively on a plan. They've been given draft documents, invited to meetings on Teams. And I said, I want it all. Give it to me. I need to see it. We're elected officials. We've been cut out of this process. And there was some resistance, but I was able to obtain it, and I got it. And sure enough, there we go. Got the plan, see what's going on, see all of the communication. I'm not talking about they just got a copy. They got advanced copies, were invited to collaborate, and the latest email they had was 9 o'clock the morning he announced it, thanking all of the health administrators for all of their input on this document. And they couldn't have done it without him. But here's the thing. Our health district didn't agree with it. And I thought, here's Governor Inslee telling the entire state of Washington that this plan is absolutely the way out. And I know that he's doing it. He's telling everyone it's because he's relied on medical professionals, the people that we're supposed to rely on. And by the way, I am not saying we shouldn't listen to health officials. I'm saying we should listen to them and then use balanced approaches for the other aspects of our community. And I thought, well, I wish the entire state of Washington knew that all the medical professionals he consulted also didn't agree on this plan. But we'll never know that. We'll never know because we weren't privy. It didn't happen on the floor of the legislature where it's supposed to happen. And what ended up with the regionalizations, as you can imagine, is it entered in a whole new aspect of potentially some legal challenges, and reached out to several other county commissioners and said, what do you think about this? And the reason why for the second proclamation was other counties were really also, I don't know what took them so long, but finally wanted to collaborate. And so it was more in line with trying to show the other counties that, hey, we're all in this together. We're going to really push back on this. Kittitas County did theirs. Benton just did theirs yesterday. And we're sending copies to each other. So that we can show everybody, how are we going to work around this? And we are actively trying to see what are the ways that we can try to, get a little more control here locally. So that's kind of the reason for the second proclamation, is really to show that we're working with our other counties together with them.
Did that, which came first, chicken or the egg? The retooling, the redesign of the health district itself, or after being told that, they're all working with the governor on that level, you thought, well, we better make some changes, so if we are doing that, we can be on board?
The people who were involved with the governor's office are on a staff level. And I will say that they should be. I mean, they're in constant, before COVID, they were talking to the State Department of Health all the time. There's nothing wrong with that. What I believe not appropriate is that they were asked to keep in confidence
that's ridiculous.
These documents. And I have a problem with that, because I think it's imperative. The accusation made towards us on a local level everywhere, not just Yakima County, is that our leadership is incompetent and we cannot be trusted to deal with this virus. And so Governor Inslee is going to come in and do it for us. And and he does things like this to actually give us no opportunity, and in fact, it makes us look quite ridiculous.
It undercuts
to
you guys.
come out with a roadmap to recovery, and we're going to find out at a press conference with everybody else that this is the way you're going to do it. Did you ever ponder there might be questions or confusion on the part of the public, and that their elected officials would be ones that they would expect they could go to find a little clarity?
Yep.
But we didn't have it.
Yeah, excellent point, man.
Yeah. So I did bring that up with the governor's office, but that it is what it is. They're really good at letting us know that they hear us, but that's about it. I think the health board, to ask your question about the health board is a whole, it's a whole different thing. There's a volunteer unpaid board, and their job, and if you look at the RCWs for the health district, their job is to, help create, in some ways, the health administrator and the health officer in normal circumstances are there to help administer the policy of the health board. Well, as you can imagine, the health board over the years, and initially started during tuberculosis, you can imagine that there's not really a lot going on, and the health board becomes like many boards. They are unpaid volunteers. They show up once a month, and, they do a great job. They review the financials, is typically what it is, and they make sure that, they ask them questions and things are going well. They get updates on programs, and then they go home, which is nothing wrong with that. But in this time, there are many things that we need to make sure are being done right by a board of this significance. And unfortunately, the very first meeting that I attended for the health board, it came to light in the beginning of the meeting that the health board had 3 vacancies that were going to be occurring due to their terms expiring. And and this is public information, and I want to make that clear. The health board meetings were public. Our special hearing to amend, which a rewrite was an overstatement. I think that the paper said we rewrote. We definitely made some adjustments, but the document, in fact, is quite solid and sound compared to what it was before. But at that meeting, they said it's tradition that if you're on this board and you want to continue to serve on this board, and you let us know that, then we just vote and we just reappoint everybody. And all these 3 people have expressed their desire to continue to serve, so we'll entertain a motion to get all 3 of these people back on the board. And they started the process to do that, and I stuck my hand up and I said, absolutely not. This is not how it goes. There's a process. We have to follow it, and this is not it. And, of course, my assertion of that caused some confusion. And so what they ended up doing instead is they voted to extend their terms an extra month. And, again, I said this is not acceptable. This is not okay. And they decided to hold the vote anyway, and it passed 4-3. With 3 of the people voting in favor of it being 3 of the people who would have come off because their terms expired. And that is problematic. That's problematic for the health district as a liability, because you cannot vote yourself additional term. And that's what started the ball saying, looking at the ordinance, looking at the way they were running, and saying, okay, we need to, this is a volunteer board. We can't expect too much of them, especially in times of crisis. They didn't do what they were supposed to do. So what can we do to protect the health district and create better guidance for future health boards and future board of county commissioners? This isn't just about the now. This is how do we make it easier for people to operate properly in the future. And that's what stemmed the changes to the ordinance, was really trying to make sure that health board was following the correct protocols to allow other community members the opportunity to apply to be on that health board. So that's kind of the background on that.
I appreciate that, and it makes total sense. So bottom line, we have, no less a critic than Jason White had commented online that you guys had the strongest message we've sent so far. So you got some props from a guy that's not used to giving out any props. I thought I'd just share that in case you missed that one. But
Wow.
keep on keeping on, and I love the transparency. We like to hear these stories. We like to know what's going on and what's driving everything. The community deserves to know, and well played.
Yeah, well, if you let me, I'll call on. I think it's always important to get a little background, and I will say, recognizing that, unless I'm out there or anyone else is out there talking, we're really relying upon what the media is going to put out there. And obviously, a lot of times it's the Yakima Herald writing articles, which I love. I love the idea of people calling, journalists doing their job. I encourage them to do it. And, the reality is if we want to get the message out, it's incumbent upon us. So I am very pleased to say I hope everyone is interested, that not everyone uses social media. It's been a big part of my drive in the first, 30 and 60 days to get some things up and running. So I have an e-newsletter that is going to be shortly available, where people can sign up for a twice monthly e-newsletter, which, is a great way for people to get up to date on these things that aren't on social media. And then starting on Tuesday, I have a live Zoom town hall that will be every Tuesday on the lunch hour. And that's
that'll start
another way for...
That'll start next Tuesday.
Yes, sir.
Oh,
yes,
good.
sir.
Okay.
I've got it on Facebook. It's already on the commissioner's page.
Oh, good.
And a couple other quick notes. We moved quickly for transparency when I got on that whole teleconference call in to attend a meeting. I said, no. So you can watch our meetings either live or recorded on Zoom now, the weekly meetings. So I just want to make sure that's clear. And we've moved to the study session. That was another big piece for me. The study session, where we reviewed what's going to go on the agenda, what should go on the consent agenda, et cetera. That link is coming up soon for Zoom, so you can even watch that. So really pushing towards having greater access. So I've been busy.